By now, you done heard about the Chat GPT and what was the when was asked to the algorithms talking to us if you had to come back down from heaven, who would you come back as? And the Chat GPT said, "Come back black." Said the resolve, the start of civilization, talking about the trials and tribulations, the historical implications, the creations, the innovations. Uh, it was very powerful to hear that. I hadn't even really, shout out to Lisa Cabrera and to others, I hadn't even really even invested, but I had to take it upon myself. And then I saw the video where the guy, he had it and to the algorithms, and it was like a mind blowing. Because the thing is this, you can't go to school and be taught about your culture. You can't go by the Hollywood plantation and be taught about your culture. You can't rely on these politicians to tell you about your culture. In some cases, you can't even go by your own family to tell you about your culture. But there is outlets and places that understand what you've been through as a soul, as a race of a soul of a people, that speak from it from a highly perspective. And before people say, well, that was fake and this is not, no, this is what was said outward loud, you know, spoke about overcoming, spoke about the penitentiaries and the plantations and that and everything that's used and stacked against you, but to show you what you've overcome. And it's really powerful to hear it like that, from a spiritual perspective, because you asking from the heavens, what would you come back? Who would you come back? And it said black people. You know, you don't get that in nothing. You know, all you get is a lot of loudmouth ignorance and cursing and vulgarity and a display of thought and 304 coding and a whole lot of things that don't lift your spiritual and your psychological. Just ghettoizes you at every cost and says, this is all you're going to be. This is all you're going to be. This is how it's going to be. This is going to do. So to hear this come out and come forth was quite the revelation in itself. And we talk about Book of Revelations. We talk about it from a psychological stand, a whole angle of everything. But this was quite very informative, quite direct, quite that, it just something that just moved your soul. And so I had to talk about this because it was like mind blowing how it just hit and it didn't let up. It was like really something that uh moved the soul, very organic, very organic. And GPT, they're gonna, of course, they're gonna whitewash it and they're gonna downplay it. I'm sure Trump will say, "Oh, the DI will say it was all fakery," but no, there are truths involved. Because often than not, you live on a culture that basically tells you don't matter. Uh, it pretty much says the white man's world, and it's painted that way in churches and in buildings, institutionalized, systematic. And again, you have to. It's not that you don't embrace others, but you don't get embraced yourself. It's really a powerful thing that till you get to that point that you see what it's about, that you hear it. And this was like an eye opener. But that is what this life is about, to have to search and to seek to find, because you're not going to hear it based on what they want you to hear and what they want you to say and feel. So, very moving, very organic. And it was like those words will bring like a flow to your soul if you understand. If you understand and understand the oppression totality. And I really enjoyed it. I really did, because uh, there is a voice in the beyond that knows that what goes on earth just ain't fair and it ain't balanced and it ain't just. It ain't just. Not with the institutionalized systematic racism that goes on in all the parties. There's nothing to vote for. There's nothing to really entertain yourself with. You can enjoy things, but look at the cost and what it has done to destruction, the communities, and how people are treated. So it speaks volumes in itself. But anyway, this was quite, that was really something that Chat GPT and from a spiritual perspective, from a psychological perspective, that was quite an eye-opening exchange. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free, stay true. And that was really a Juneteenth moment, if you must know. That really was. I'm out. Peace.